Hey there friendlies, how's up? Welcome to another scotch review here at Dribs Drams. This week we're doing the Balblair 12, which I'm very interested to get open. I don't know much about it. I've seen it on the shelf once before here in Quebec, and so knowing that I don't have a lot of experience with Highland malts, when I saw it again this time I just grabbed it. So without much further ado, let's get this baby open, shall we? What do we got here? The little sleevey off. Love the shape of this bottle. Haha, it's a good cork sound, guys. Interesting. Let's see what we got. Go for the drama. Kind of an awkward bottle to pour from, guys. I ain't gonna lie. That's a big dram. Now, the one weakness about pouring over a light like that is I wasn't sure how big that dram was until, yikes. It's okay, it's fine. If it's a good whiskey, it's not going to be a problem. Let me get rid of the knife here. So, one thing you definitely notice about this Balblair is that it's got an age statement on it. One thing I do know about Balblair is they didn't used to do that. They put vintages on their bottles. 2005, 2015, whatever. And they started doing the age statement 2019, 2016, something like that. 2019. I'm not entirely sure why they did that. I thought that the vintage statement was a pretty cool idea. When they did that, they definitely improved the the look and feel of the label, but that doesn't really mean anything in comparison with the juice inside the bottle. Although, I'm saying that, but it's actually not true, because a lot of people do buy with their eyes before they buy with their taste buds. When you're standing there at the liquor commission or liquor store, wherever you may live, and you're just looking at bottle after bottle and trying to read the backs, and like instead of, hold on, like, let me just close this up so it looks respectable on the camera. Nice box, by the way, Balblair. This, you know, there's nothing, there are no tasting notes, right? So imagine you're standing there in a bunch of boxes, and here's just a bunch of marketing faffle about, you know, on the distillery doorstep stands the ancient Clack Doric standing stone, a landmark for over 4,000 years. Who cares? Tell me what the juice tastes like. You know, whatevs. So yeah, they do the age statement now, as I said, and instead of the vintage. I think there might still be some vintage around. I know when I'm looking up the bottles online at some other liquor stores in other provinces, they still have some vintage statement bottles. So I've been letting this sort of sit here and breathe while I talk. Let's do my checklist before we do the tasting this time, just in case I forget it like I did with the Amaret. How much of Jesse's checklist does this hit? Okay, we got a single malt. It's a Highland single malt. We have an age statement. Non-chill filtered. No caramel coloring. And 46%. Bing, we hit them all. So if this thing tastes as good as it sounds to me, then I think it's going to be a bottle full of win. It's got a fresh, there's a citrusy, like a bright citrus, lemon, no, not like a lemon juice, like a lemon peel. What else do we got? It's got a light smell to it. Like it doesn't weigh too heavy on the nose. There's a green apple in there as well. There's definitely an oak thing, like a vanilla. Okay, so I've got like this bright, there's a lemon peel or, no, not lime. Fruity, definitely fruity, vanilla-y, so like oaky. There's no spice happening on the nose. It's all sort of bright, happy, vanilla, citrusy. airy. I have a suspicion that everything I'm tasting smells bright and airy and kind of seasidey because I'm doing these outside. I may have to revisit at least one of these inside at some point in the future just to see if my environment and my freezing hands are not affecting my my tasting notes, guys, or at least my nosing notes. Urban environment here, guys. So let's give it a taste. Oh, there's spice now. There's like a lot of honey. Is it caramel? No, it's honeyed. And there's some spice. I'm detecting kind of a cinnamon or a nutmeg, but not a spicy food thing. I'm talking about baking spices. The citrus is there, but it's darkened a bit to, I don't know if that's like a blood orange or maybe not a tangerine, but maybe a clementine. You know, not too bright. It's got more sort of body to it now. What else? I'm like waiting for the finish, but I'm going to take another sip first. There's something else happening there. It's not like a pine or an evergreen, but there's something rugged, just sort of hitting at the back. It's not an overly complex taste, but it's not too simple either. It's kind of a mid-range, I find. Like, it's still interesting. I'm picking up like a leather chair or a leather, like an old leather, a library kind of dustiness on the finish. And the finish is reasonably long. It's still there. It's sort of trickling off into the back. There's still that spice in a big, big way. The spiciness, now that it's on the finish, I'll take another sip, but right now the spiciness is more like those cinnamon hearts, you know, those little candies that nobody really likes, but here it actually works quite well. But I'm picking up a leathery, dusty, book-bound kind of thing on the finish as well. So I guess we should add some water. No, not yet. Not with that much in the glass. I've been bit by the water enough before. And the finish is still kind of going anyway. There's still that vanilla there, though. But it's definitely a well-oaked scotch. I would like to pick up the 15 next and see how the oak has increased and everything else is toned down a little bit. Because the longer they sit in casks, in barrels, the more the wood comes out and the more vibrant notes tone down and settle into sort of a comfort plushness of flavor and aroma. Because I think this is a pretty good start. 12 is not a very old whiskey, but well, neither is 15, to be honest with you. But any more than that, I just can't afford it. 15 is already stretching my budget a bit. But if it starts like this, I think that it must be really, really good at the older age statements. That spice is definitely still there. It's beautiful. There's a little pepper there. Maybe I'm picking up a raisin on the tongue that I wasn't really picking up on the nose. Or it might be that because I'm detecting so much baking spice, it's making me think of things that have like dried fruits in them, like a fruit cake or something. But now that I'm tasting it again and I've nosed it again, I'm definitely getting a bit of a raisin thing on there. Still sort of that green apple though. Molasses. I'm tasting it in different ways, right? I take a little sip and I swallow it, fine, just to sort of, here we are. And then I do that thing where you take a sip and you kind of chew it to get the flavors throughout your mouth. Another thing I like to do is take a sip and just let it roll from the tip of my tongue to the back of my tongue before I swallow. And I find that every time I change how I'm tasting this thing, I got my hands in my pockets because I'm cold, it brings out something a little different. You know, so when I taste one way, it's definitely honey. When I taste another way, there might be a brown sugar or a molasses there. And I find that scotch is exciting for stuff like this, guys. And the way you nose with your mouth closed versus open, completely, not completely different, but it's quite different. You get a lot more with your mouth open. I'm just looking for excuses to drink as much as possible before I put the water in, because I know that as soon as I put in the water, I'm just going to want to glug it. By the way, it's got a nice viscosity and a really nice mouth feel as well. Like, I don't know if you can see that. I'll bring it closer. Like, see how it's a really nice character to this thing all around. Okay, let's put some water in here and wreck the experience. All right, let's get that there so it's not off camera. Let's add a couple of drops of distilled water to our poor unsuspecting whiskey. Get rid of that. Just gonna let that bloom. I guess to get back to my point about the packaging, like, hold on. It's a well-designed box, very beautifully designed. It's a good quality box. I've got snow in it now, you know, it's really nice. But guys, I don't care about the marketing faff. What I care about are the tasting notes that are on the back of this box. I just saw them. They're right here. I'm leaving that in. I'm leaving that in because I just made an ass of myself and I gotta leave that in. Okay. Because I just have this idea of how useless these boxes are, I just sort of saw, oh, Balblair 12. I'm interested. I'll take it. Matured in American oak, ex-bourbon and double-fired American oak cask, bringing elegant complexity and warmth. Okay, barrel notes. Oh, I just gave you the barrel notes, in fact. Right there are the tasting notes. I didn't even look. The first time I looked at the back was to make fun of the marketing faff that I knew was going to be there, and I started at the top, and I didn't even go down to the bottom. Ah, oh, man, I feel silly. Ah. It's okay. It's fine. I gotta remember to put this there so you guys can see the glass. What do you think? Has it bloomed enough? My hands are going numb. It's not that cold out. It's -7, but because I'm holding glasses and I don't have my gloves on or anything, it's really quite cold on the little handsies. Okay. Interesting. The smell is not that different, but it's toned down. There's not as much happening. It's not quite as interesting. Hold on. Let me nose it again. No. Okay, it's coming back alive. The sweetness is much more present now. The citrusy lemon thing is still happening. But that's kind of all I'm getting. Which is weird because I would have expected more of the spice. The honey is changing a bit more to like a brown sugar. There's definitely some Scotch mist on there, which you're not going to be able to see. I'm going to come and show you, but you're not going to be able to see it, I don't think. Do you see that? Yeah, that probably doesn't show up on screen, but it's definitely there. That didn't ruin it. It's changed it. But it didn't claw at my throat on the way down. Hold on, I gotta do this again. It's still very, very palatable. Is it as good? No, but it's not bad. The spice and the sweet have merged. Like a gingerbready thing happening now. Interesting. The citrus is toned way down. It's still there, but it's toned way down. But I don't feel the need to sort of glug and call it a day on this. I gotta take note of that. Balblair is not destroyed by a drop of distilled water. Well, I'm gonna call that a win. This bottle is, see, I'm affected, right? Because I'm gonna say this is an 8.5 on 10 because I'm so impressed that the water did not destroy this bottle. But yeah, I'm first impressions, 8.5 on 10. That's all she wrote. Thanks for hanging out with me on this little scotch review. I hope you found it useful. If you like what I'm doing and you did find that useful, please do the following 3 things. First, drop me a note down below. Do you love this? Do you hate this? Have you not tried it but you're gonna because of me? If you did try it because of me, what did you think of my tasting notes? Were they bang on or kinda off? Next thing I'd like you to do is share the video, and then the third thing I'd like you to do is leave me a smiley thumb. If you don't like what I'm doing, that's alright, just leave me a frowny thumb. Thanks for watching, guys.